Hello there, Brick Fanatics. We need to talk about LEGO's modular buildings. The current crop of modular buildings are set to have a dramatic shake-up at the end of this year, because while there are currently 5 modular buildings, 6 if you include one of the LEGO Marvel sets, on the market at the moment, 3 of them are retiring in December of this year. A retired set is one that LEGO is no longer manufacturing or producing or shipping out to store shelves. 10255 Assembly Square first turned up in 2017 and has just been one of those sets that it seems like LEGO can keep making forever. It does look a little bit dated when you stack it up next to a lot of the other newer modular buildings, but that was always something that gave it a little bit of unique charm. This isn't the only set that's retiring though. 10270 Bookshop has also reached its final chapter. I'm sorry. Now while it's not lasted as long as Assembly Square, a 3-year time on the market is pretty decent for any LEGO set, so this isn't really one to mourn either. It's a beautiful set which I will finish one day. I will finish building it, I promise. It's one of the first of the kind of new, shinier, more colourful of the modular buildings that LEGO produced. As time has gone by, these sets have had various updates, and more recently they've been experimenting with different wild colours, things that really pop and stand out. And the Bookshop was the first example of this, and one that looks absolutely spectacular, even if it's unfinished and has a pirate ship perched on top of it. 10278 Police Station from 2021 is also getting the axe. The 2 modular sets that remain are expected to be around for quite a while. 10297 Boutique Hotel, for example, is expected to retire in 2025, and this year's release 10312 Jazz Club is expected to retire in 2026. That's assuming that the LEGO Group doesn't shift around their schedule a bit, which they do fairly regularly, and so these dates are definitely not set in stone. There is one other modular-ish building which could be considered part of this collection. 76218 Sanctum Sanctorum is considered to be a Marvel LEGO set rather than an Icons set, and so is not normally lumped in with the rest of the modular buildings. It's also unique because it went out to a lot more retailers than any of the modular buildings ever do, which are normally exclusive to 1 or 2 shops around the country that you happen to live in. This has had a big impact on its price because a lot of third-party retailers are much more comfortable offering deep discounts on the bigger sets. For example, this one, where there's just so many of them available at so many different retailers that they're all competing, and so some will slash a bit off the price and some will slash a bit more of the price and others will price match, and so while the set is technically supposed to cost £215 in the UK, normally it's easy to find it around 170, sometimes lower. I've seen it as low as 140, so it's a modular set, but it is one of the more affordable modular sets. All you have to do is tolerate having a lot of different Marvel character minifigures, and isn't that a shame? Isn't that difficult to manage? Not exactly a hardship. The question then is, if we're seeing so many of these modular buildings disappear all at once, what are these modular buildings going to look like in 2024? Now, it's become standard practice for the LEGO Group to release one of these modular buildings around every January of every year. So you get one new set. Things like Sanctum Sanctorum were an aberration, which, as we say, are not technically part of the same collection and so could come at a different time of year, but January is the time where we're going to hear about whatever comes next for this range. And with 3 sets retiring all at once, it means that we're down to 2 in December, but very briefly then we'll be up to 3. So we've got the Jazz Club, we've got the Boutique Hotel. Both of those are fantastic sets, very colourful, very bright, very energetic, lots of fun in them. Whatever's next is going to have to complement these 2 sets primarily. There's another trend which probably needs to be spoken to, which is that these sets have been getting, as mentioned, more and more expensive. So Assembly Square has gone up multiple times in price. A lot of the other ones that are retiring, such as the Bookshop, have also gone up incrementally as inflation has hit LEGO and has hit consumers at the same time. And so it's felt less and less comfortable buying a lot of these sets. As noted in our LEGO Star Wars video, the rumour is that next year we're going to see a lot of slightly smaller LEGO for adult sets. Things like the dioramas and mid-sized ships, which are a little bit more accessible, a little bit easier on the wallet, if that makes sense, than some of the sets that we've had previously, some of the really big Ultimate Collector Series sets. There's not much that can be done to scale back on modular buildings unless they start slicing them in half. So just taking the Bookshop as an example, A lot of these sets are built as two separate distinct buildings which can then be clipped together, and that's fantastic for the kind of the modular side of things, because two different buildings can be arranged in a variety of different ways. When you've got several of these sets stacked together, you can have all kinds of different layouts. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! The only way that the LEGO Group could feasibly make these modular sets cheaper and more accessible is to start releasing them half-size like this, or to find some other way of reducing the size of the building. I don't know, taking off floors so that it's a shorter structure, something like this. This would go a long way to making these sets more accessible and cheaper, but it would also rob them of a lot of the character and the charm of them, which is that you have this rather meaty structure that's all one big Lego set, which you can kind of do as you choose if you're laying out a cityscape or just having one set on display. Kind of reducing the size of them would make them a little bit more like some of the Creator 3-in-1 buildings which have been released over the past few years, which are, by the way, a fantastic little collection in their own right and also look wonderful as part of a cityscape. See also basically everything from the LEGO Friends range ever, because the LEGO Friends have had some absolute crackers of buildings over the past few years. That's just one thought of how the LEGO Group might approach things, if the same strategy that we are hearing they're going to be applying to other ranges also ends up being applied to the modulars. It's no secret that LEGO fans absolutely adore these modular buildings, and indeed every single review for LEGO Idea sets there's always a bunch of modulars in there. While fan design modular buildings are always phenomenally popular, the LEGO Group doesn't tend to approve these. A few trickle out every now and then as part of the Bricklink designer program, but that's about it. So it's clear that the LEGO Group doesn't want to flood the market with way too many modular buildings and keep things nice and simple. And it might be that the Assembly Square, just having stuck around for as long as it did because of presumably constant popularity, that one had its time anyway. It might be that the police station was not selling quite as well for whatever reason. It might be that there's no bigger, wider, grander scheme behind any of this, and it's just the time for a few sets to pass on and to be replaced by new stuff. So while this isn't the biggest deal of all time, it is ultimately just 3 LEGO sets all retiring at the same moment. It is something that fans of modular buildings need to keep in mind. Some of these sets are going to disappear. Something new is probably coming in January, but it might be something slightly different to what we've currently got on the market. It would be foolish to speculate too wildly about any of this, simply because we don't have all the information, and whatever the LEGO Group is planning, it's probably going to be something that none of us could have considered anyway. But it's interesting to note, and there's nothing wrong with wishful thinking about what we might get in the future. Hopefully, more and varied modular sets. But what do you think? Is this some grand moment of change for the modular buildings, or is it just business as usual? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Also, be sure to do the YouTube stuff, like, share, subscribe, etc. Head to Brick Fanatics, sign up to our newsletter, and also, use the affiliate link code here, the QR code, which has our affiliate link, takes you straight to the LEGO website, and from there you can make a purchase. We get a little kickback. It supports the work that we do. Thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely day.